what can I say? I am back at it again with the Pokemon tier lists, but this time I am doing shiny Pokemon. It's completely new, it's completely different. I can't help myself. Every time I do something different, I'm like, oh, I just want to be, talking about Pokemon and doing Pokemon tier lists, and so I found a different way to do it. Sue me or thank me. I don't know, one of the two. Stick around, it'll be fun, I promise. Don't leave. Anyway, let's get started. One thing I do want to say from the jump, this is not going to be like regular tier lists in the sense that I'm just, ranking them on their favorability to me. This is going to be strictly on how good of a shiny they are. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We all have to be honest with ourselves. That is, I hate to say it, that's D tier. That's terrible. I understand that unfortunately a lot of shinies are just green or look like they have I don't know, I was gonna say a fungal infection. Is that mean? But oddly enough, I don't mind this one though. But I just think it's kind of boring. Now, like Ivysaur and okay, we'll do it like that because it's more interesting when the flower thing is a different color, but the bud, I don't know. Anyway, yellow Charmander. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think, we're playing it safe, and if I look forward a little bit, like I look at some of the other Pokemon, I'm like, wow, they did something really fun with the shinies for these, and then the starters, I feel like it's just kind of like, okay, fine, I don't know. Okay, I gotta say it, I'm not even a Charizard fan, but that's pretty cool. They swung big, is that the saying? And it paid off. I think it looks cool. That's an S tier for me. Moving on to Squirtle. Now, you might think you're immediately contradicting yourself. This is not a big swing. I don't know why I kind of like that change in hue. Sue me. I promised you can trust me. It'll make sense. Or Turtle, on the other hand, it just looks like, I don't know. He looks like he recently gave blood. You know what I mean? He's a little pale. He's doing all right. He can still stand up, but he doesn't have that luster that he usually has. And you're like, oh, War Turtle, what's wrong? You don't seem yourself. Are you okay? And he's like, oh yeah, I just gave blood, or oh, I didn't have I skipped breakfast today, and you're like, oh, okay. Moving on to Blastoise. I actually don't like the colors on this at all. I just don't think they complement each other well. I'm being crazy with this one. It's just a green shell. I'm reasonable. Okay, yellow Caterpie. Not bad. I've also noticed that I've somehow aligned the colors of the B tier so far with the color of the category itself. But anyway, orange Metapod. Hate on me if you want. That's A tier. That is, I'm gonna say it, cool. I was gonna say another word, but it's cool. That is interesting. It looks like a flame, or a chunk of bronze. I don't know. I think it looks cool. Now this, I don't know. I don't necessarily know what mad cow disease is, but if there was a Butterfree equivalent, that's what I would assume it would look like. If you were like, oh, it has mad Butterfree disease, and I looked at that Butterfree, I'd be like, oh yeah, you're right. This Weedle. I mean, Weedle's cute, but what? There's nothing interesting about it. Green Kakuna. Oh, did they just go opposite? For whatever reason, it doesn't work as much. It looks like an alien in a sense, maybe an alien in a sleeping bag, which is interesting, but I don't know. Green Beedrill. meh. I don't know. I'm not that excited. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. These look like maybe if they were like in a like they just got finished fighting a Sandshrew and the Sandshrew used Sandstorm on them like 8 times and then you didn't take them to go get bathed. That's what Pidgey and Pidgeotto would look like. Pidgeot. B tier, I don't know. Ew. Okay, but I hate to say it. I like it better than the original version, but it's still not that great. This is disgusting. Okay. Pharaoh and Sparrow, they just look dingy. Like, I don't know, like, they just look dirty to me. Like, they look like, I've said that. I hate, like, talking about Pokemon and saying they look like they'd stink. But, like, those two particularly look like they would smell like, I don't know. I don't know what bird poop smells like, but they look like they'd smell like it. Ecans. Ecans. Do I like it? Do I like it? It's fine. As I put it in C tier, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think I just don't really like the like yellowy toned ones. Like they just look like, I think the issue is more that like it's not even a full commitment to the yellow. It just seems like, you know, you put a yellow greenish hue over the Pokemon or like a layer over the Pokemon and you lower it down to like 75%. Pikachu, okay. This does just look like Pikachu, but a little brighter, but I think it's a little bit cute. And then Orange Raichu, I don't know, it just does not work for me. And right now it just seems like I kind of hate shiny Pokemon. I'm looking ahead and some of these are really cool. It's just that the beginning ones really, really are not good. Anyway, Green Sandshrew, C tier, and then what do we think about this? You know, I think it's cute in the sense that like, you know, it's fall time right now and you know, the trees and the bushes in my neighborhood are like turning this orangish reddish hue, which that reminds me of, but I don't know. This literally just looks like Nidoran or Nido whatever. Nido, that one. And then this one does too. There is something interesting to me that they kept the chest area of this one, or not kept, but made it pink. I'm gonna bump it up to C tier for that, or B tier. This looks exactly the same. I like, part of me is questioning, I'm like, did they even put the right sprites for these ones? A brighter blue version of this one is kind of cool. I'm gonna say A tier. Ooh, Clefairy, but with green little like ear tips, and Clefable with green ear tips. Barf. Alright. Yeah, they just made Vulpix worse. I don't know what to say. However, this on the other hand is interesting. It's cool. It's fun to look at. I'm gonna say Shiny Ninetales S tier. It's cool. It looks different. The colors are actually interesting. It looks unique. It looks different. It would catch your eye, and so I like it. Now, you all know I love Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff with green eyes. Now, this is disgusting. I just have to say that about Wigglytuff. But Jigglypuff with green eyes, it's kind of like when, like, and I'm so sorry if you're one of these people, I say this with nothing but, you know, love, but I don't like how people look when they, like, wear colored contacts, like, casually. I think it looks a little bit creepy, especially when they're like a really bright color, and that's what that looks like to me. So, you know, now green is Zubat. Oddly enough, I kind of like it. I think it looks interesting, and then I like this version better. I like this like bright pink in the wings. I think it really works. It almost makes it look like a fruit, there's such a thing as a fruit bat, right? I don't know what a fruit bat looks like, but if there was a Pokemon that was a fruit and a bat, like it almost looks like a watermelon. I don't know, it looks cool to me. Oddish, my beloved. I love Oddish. This is boring. I'm sorry. And then Gloom just, they just look like, I don't know. Paris, I love Paris. Paris is one of my favorite Pokemon. This just looks like Paris with the saturation turned up about like by 5. That's not that good. And then shiny Parasect. I'll say B tier. I kind of like this orangey, yellowy. I don't know. Oh, okay. This is interesting. Blue Venonat, or yeah, Blue Venonat. I'm gonna give a What do we say about this one? I'm gonna put it in B tier. No, it's better than those ones. I'm gonna put it in A tier, and then Blue Venomoth I'm putting in S tier. I think it's cool. I think it actually looks better than the original version. I don't know. I think it looks really interesting, and I think that would be a shiny Pokemon that I would actually go out of my way to try and catch in one of the games. Which I think that's the problem. And maybe something I should have said in the beginning is like I'm also ranking it on like whether I would actually try to catch one. Because shiny Pokemon are notoriously difficult to get, and so like some of these it's like, why would you go out of your way to spend a bunch of time trying to get this garbage when these ones exist or these ones exist? So Diglett with a blue nose, I'm gonna say it A tier. I think that's funny. I think it's cool. I think I would have liked it maybe if they would have changed the color of the body as well, like maybe made it like lighter or like a pale colored blue. I think that would look fun. But regardless, I think it's funny, and it's interesting enough to that it's worth noting. I actually think this is it looks nice. This just looks normal to me. Blue Psyduck. I actually love this. It looks like Psyduck with a brain freeze, which I think is funny. And I love Psyduck, and I think it contributes to his charm. Now, I think it would have been interesting if they would have went backwards. So Golduck normally is blue, and Psyduck is yellow, but they made the shiny Psyduck yellow. So if they would have made him yellow, or they made the shiny Psyduck blue, you get what I'm saying. I would have liked Golduck if he was yellow instead for the shiny, and so for that reason, it's a C tier. It's kind of boring to me. Green Mangy. This looks evil. Like it looks like a cartoon zombie. I don't know. It looks weird. Now Primate, but this, I'm not gonna lie, it's A tier. Like an orange, like almost like sherbet color fluff ball. I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. I like it. Shiny Growlithe. It's just yellow, which is like meh. I don't love it. I don't hate it either. Poliwag. I love Poliwag, and I do think it's cuter in a brighter color, but it's not that different, so I'm gonna put it in C tier. Now, hear me out. I understand that it's blue, but it's a cool color blue, and I like it. I'm putting it in A tier. In the words of my lawyer, sue me. Now, Poliwrath, I'm sorry, this is bad. Okay, D tier. Now, not to get ahead of myself, but I just saw it. This is literally just Abra, and this is just Kadabra. You might be like, no, Rosso, this thing is, no. I'm being lied to. Now, Alakazam, I'm gonna say pretty cool, A tier. Machop, I think it's an interesting change on like the I think it makes Machop look more like a rock Pokemon, which I think is interesting, but I don't particularly, care for it still, and so I'm just gonna put it in C tier, but I think it was an interesting go at it. Green Machoke. I don't hate it, so I'm not gonna put it in that one. And then Green Machamp, I kind of do hate it. I don't know, it like the blue things on the arm kind of saved it for me, but on Machamp, I'm just not particularly, there's not a redeeming quality. Now, Bellsprout, I love you, but it's not that interesting. And then this is, I'm sorry, even worse. And I love Bellsprout, I love Weepin' Bell and Victory Bell, but it's just like this is kind of bad. Now, Victory Bell with blue lips. I'm gonna say B tier. I think it's kind of interesting. It's kind of ugly, but like the blue lips was a big swing, and I'll give them credit for that. Now, shiny tentacle. This is freaking cool. I like it. It almost looks like a gusher. I don't know. I like it. This is actually pretty cool too. I was gonna say it looked a little more like plain or boring, but I actually think like the balance of the colors looks interesting. I don't know. I like it. Shiny Geodude. I think I have one of these in Legends Arceus. Which I wasn't particularly excited how it looked there, but I think it looks pretty cool here, and so I'm going to put it in B tier. I actually think this is pretty cool too. I'm putting this one in B tier, and then this one is just sort of, Golem is fine, so I'm putting it in C tier. Now, Ponyta. If you played Legends Arceus, then you know there was a specific, like a side mission or a side quest where you could get a blue Ponyta, and I think it's cute. I think the only reason why I'm not that excited about it is because I feel like I've sort of been, what's the word? Like when you've been exposed to something, so you sort of, it's not as exciting anymore. But I'll put it in B tier. That being said, shiny Rapidash is so freaking cool. To turn the flames gray makes it look so cool. It makes it look like smoke. I think that's like genuinely a good choice for a change of color. I think it looks awesome, and so I'm putting it in S tier. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for my beloved Slowpoke. It kind of just looks dusty, like if you left like Slowpoke in the attic. I don't know. And I need to point out, like, so many of my favorites are not in good, like they're in C and D tier, and this is how you know I'm not just biased toward my favorites. I'm a man of principle, and I'm a man of I respect good design and a good change of design. And if you're gonna say this is shiny, this is different, you know, make it worthwhile. And I wouldn't go out of my way to catch this. However, shiny Slowbro, right? Slowbro, yes. I think that's really cool. I think purple is fun. I don't necessarily love the color of the thing biting its tail, but I think it's still pretty cool. Now, Magnemite and Magneton. Easily some of my favorite electric Pokemon in the entire series. These just kind of look like they've been put through a sepia tone filter, which could be a bit boring, but I think it's kind of interesting to see the magnets in all black and the screws in all black. I think that's kind of cool. So, you know, Farfetch'd, again, doesn't look all that different, and so I'm not that excited by it. And then I'm sorry about Doduo and Dodrio, but they look ill. Like, I would take them to the Pokemon Center immediately if I saw them like that, to be like, yo, this is, something's wrong, okay, but please help them. I think they're dying. Now, I'm almost tempted to put Seal and Dugong in S tier, just because I think it is so freaking funny to have the nerve to not change a singular thing about these Pokemon. I think that is so funny. I can't treat my opinion like a joke, you know what I mean? You guys trust in me to be a lighthouse of sorts, you know, in this in this storm, in this fog of bad shiny Pokemon, and so I can't in good faith put that in S tier and mislead you guys. Now, Green, Grimer, and Muck. I like Grimer and Muck, and I like their shiny versions. I think that it is fun that they stayed with a color that looks like slime, or like whatever. It kind of looks like they would live in a swamp, which like a swamp Pokemon would be pretty cool. I don't know. I like it. Now, Orange Shelter. Yes, thank you very much. I freaking love it. Very fun, very cute. It's adorable. Blue Cloyster. You might be thinking, how do you feel about that? A tier as well. It is great. I like it. They look really fun together. I love that they are like complete, like opposites on the, where's orange? They're not close to each other on the color wheel is what I'm trying to get at. And so I think that's pretty fun. Shiny Ghastly. Say what you will, say what you want about me. That's S tier. I think it's so cool to just change the color of his smoke cloud to blue. I think it makes it look so much more interesting, and I think it's like not even a subtle change, but like a minor change that like completely changes the aesthetic of a Pokemon. I think it looks incredible. I think it makes the like dark ball in the center like jump out that much more, and I think it looks cool. So S tier. Haunter, on the other hand, just has a blue tongue. So I want to say C tier. Actually, no, because you know, like when you were a kid, and you know, certain candies that would stain your tongue, and he even got his hands dirty, so it's like he's got his hands all in it. I think that's actually kind of funny. Gengar just looks like Gengar. I'm sorry, that's going in D tier for me. Onyx, I don't even like Onyx, and I like that one less. Ooh, okay. Pink Drowsy, incredible. But they did even better with Hypno. Hypno in pink looks so freaking cool. It's such a like interesting hue of pink. It looks, I don't know, or whatever that word is of pink, it looks cool. Pink Hypno, I like it better than the original Hypno. That's an S tier for me. That's a complete improvement on Hypno. I think it's so fun. So S tier. And you know, you might be thinking, why didn't you just put Drowsy in S tier? But I think it's the shade of pink. Like, it looks cooler on Hypno than it does on Drowsy, but Drowsy's still A tier. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. But yeah, moving on to Krabby, which I love Krabby, and I feel like they just, you know, it's like they're sucking the life out of these Pokemon. However, I don't know how to explain this to you, but like, I really like Shiny Kingler because he looks like, I don't know if you would call it like moss, like sea moss or something, but you know, like when things underwater get covered in green, I think it's just moss. I don't know. That's what like Kingler looks like to me in a way that Krabby sort of doesn't, but I think it's really cool. I don't know. Now, Shiny Voltorb, I think this is one of the first shiny Pokemon that I ever saw as a kid. Like, I don't think I can't remember if I had one. I don't know. I just know I have a memory associated with a blue Voltorb that I cannot place in my memory, but I remember seeing one, is my point. And so I'm gonna put it in B tier because I think it's pretty cool. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why Shiny Electro to me is super cool. I think it looks fun. The blue almost makes it look like a 5 o'clock shadow more than it did before, which I think is funny. I like blue Electro or Shiny Electrode. I think it looks great. Now, do I think this is interesting in the sense of like golden eggs, like that one? What are they, like Jack and the Beanstalk? But I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. And like, I like gold as a metal. I don't know why I just don't like it for Execute. I think it would look, I don't know, I'd like it better in a different color, and I'm trying to think in my head like what would, because they're pink originally, which I think looks nice. But I think maybe like maybe going dark, like Charizard's color for the eggs, I think would have been interesting. And then have them like because one of them is like cracked open slightly, like have like a bright colored inside. This, I feel the same. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's fine for Executor. Cubone, I think it looks cute. I think it makes him look more like a cartoony dinosaur. I don't like this hue of green as much, so I'm going to put it in C tier, but actually, I'm lying. It's fine. It's B tier. I don't like this one. And the blue gloves, I know I've been giving them credit for like adding like a pop of color in some regard, but no. Lickitung, I appreciate that the tongue is still like saturated and everything, or like it has like a bright color, but yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say C tier for this one. I don't particularly. Ooh, blue coughing, that's pretty freaking cool. I'm gonna put it in B tier. And then Wheezing, I think looks really freaking cool. I would go out of my way to catch one of these. I'm gonna say S tier. I like it in like the color of the smoke. I think complements it very well, and it makes it stand out in a way that Coughing didn't. But I still like how Coughing looked, but I think Wheezing looks even better. So S tier. I think it's a great improvement, not only on the original design, but I think on like Coughing evolving into a Wheezing. And I like that they kept the color, but like did something else with it. You get my point. I like the colors. Right on. It's not bad. This just looks like Rhyhorn to me. Chansey. I like Chansey. I don't particularly love this. Whoa, where'd you go? But it's not bad, so I'm going to put it in B tier. Now, Tangela. I love Tangela. One of my favorite Pokemon. I don't know why. I really cannot lie. I don't like the green version of it. I know it maybe looks like seaweed or like grass or something, but it just, I don't, maybe if like the shoes were a different color, it kind of just makes him look like a green clown wig, but like with shoes on. I don't know, and not in a good way. Like, I'm not one of those people who's afraid of clowns, but I just don't like it. That literally looks like nothing to me. And it would really, they would need to put a bunch of like those little shiny, sparkly stars that they put on shiny Pokemon for me to even recognize that as a shiny Pokemon, because that's wild. Shiny Horsey. I actually really like this. I think the colors are really interesting. This too, sue me. I think they look different enough to where it's interesting. They almost look like sunset versions of Horsey and Seadro, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know, in my opinion. Then we have Goldeen, which I don't mind Goldeen, but that just looks like Goldeen. And then Seeking. Like, that looks like an Elder Seeking, and not in a bad way, you know what I mean? It just is not interesting to me. Oh, Gray Staryu, that is A tier. That is so freaking cool. And then Starmie, also A tier. I think that is so freaking cool. I love how those two look. Green Mr. Mime. Oh, okay. This is one of the ones where even when I looked forward, it didn't stand out to me. But in this moment, I think it looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, A tier. I think it looks good. Scyther, boring. Jinx, also boring. Electabuzz. I don't know. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm gonna put it in C tier. Your name's not Magmar. What's your name? You know, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Magmar. I get Magmar and Slugma confused, but and Magcargo. But anyway, Magmar, I think the pink looks interesting. It's not that different, but like, I think pink flames kind of look cool. Oh, Blue Pinsir. Blue Pinsir is freaking cool. That's going in A tier, and I don't even like Pinsir, but that just like looks interesting. Like, that would be such a cool bug to come across. Like a blue, almost like, what would you call that? Like a dark periwinkle or something. I think that looks great. Green Tauros. This looks like another swamp animal. So, like a swamp bull, which I don't know if those exist. Oh, like maybe what are those animals called? Like an ox? It looks maybe like an ox that's like covered in grass. Like a marshy bovine. Golden Magikarp, another, famous, shiny, beloved. I think he's great. Again, I feel like I've been just exposed to it a little too much, which makes it a little less exciting for me. I'm going to put him in B tier. Red Gyarados, I think, is pretty cool. I'm going to put him in B tier again. No, I'm being silly. Let's put him in A tier. And Magikarp, too. I'm being unfair. Lapras. I think Lapras is a great Pokemon. I know a lot of people love Lapras. I just don't love Lapras that much, and I don't really like the shiny version either. I'm going to say C tier. I just think it's like this more like purpley hue is not interesting to me. Now, Blue Ditto, I think that is freaking cool. It looks like a piece of blue gum, which, sounds like a weird reason to put something in S tier, but I don't know. Instead of being just some like greenish hue of what it used to be, they just went completely opposite and just went for blue, which I think looks awesome. Okay, I was not expecting to be interested by Eevee of all Pokemon, but I think gray Eevee looks freaking cool. I love how that looks. I think it looks interesting. It almost, makes it feel fresh and new, which I think maybe the problem that I have with Eevee and evolutions is that I feel like just like a little bored of them, or I feel like sometimes I'm just exposed to them too much, and so, yeah, I like it. Pink Vaporeon. Now, I've been liking, a lot of the, like, Pokemon that get turned pink, but I don't know why I don't like this that much. I'm going to put it in C tier. What is this thing's name? Jolteon? green Jolteon also doesn't really. I don't care for it if I'm being honest, and I don't like this version either of Flareon. Blue Porygon, interesting. I like it. Not the biggest fan, but I think it's cool. Omnimite, Omnistar. They're fine. Don't hate them, don't love them, but they're interesting. This is kind of creepy, and I think it makes it look fun. I think it makes it look a little more like Halloween-y, which I think is cool. This one is just like, okay, whatever. Pink Aerodactyl. I think this is another fun one. I think maybe if they went a little brighter, I would think, oh, that's fun, that's cool, but it's well done and fine. It's middle of the road for me. Snorlax, I love you, baby. You just look the same. Same with Articuno. I noticed a slight change in Zapdos, not enough for me to like it. Now, Pink Moltres, I think that's really cool. This isn't going to sound like a compliment, but it almost looks like a raw chicken that's on fire, and so for that, I'm going to put it on S tier. I think it looks cool, but funny at the same time. I like it. I don't know, S tier. Oh, Pink Dratini. I'm going to put it in A tier. I like it. Dragonair. I'll put it in B tier. I like the blue version of it more, and so I can't like put it that high. And then green Dragonite. It just gives like dragon, like dragon in a stereotypical sense, Halloween vibes to me, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. Green Mewtwo. Oh, I like that. It reminds me of the different skins that they have for him in Smash, so I'll put it in A tier. And then same for Blue Mew. I think it's pretty cool. I think it looks fun, and that's gonna be an A tier. So, looking over my S tiers, freaking solid. I would not reconsider any of them. Now, are there any A tiers we want to bump up? Metapod. I was gonna go and list all of them, but then I gave up after the first one. I feel the only one that like maybe I would consider bumping up would be Gray Staryu, but I think it's fine where it is. I feel pretty good. I feel confident about this. Let me know what you think. I made my way back to a tier list one way or another, and I want to. I find this content fun. I like talking about my Pokemon. I like giving my opinions and seeing, giving you when I tell a weird little story of like, oh, it looks like, this Pokemon forgot to eat breakfast or whatever, it's just like, these are the thoughts that come across my mind, and I sometimes just enjoy laughing at myself when I'm forced to put those thoughts into words. And so, anyway, hope you enjoy it. I'm going to be honest, it's not going to be the last one. I'm probably going to end up doing the rest of the Pokemon generations and shinies. And so, if you like it, great. And if not, reconsider. Because I like it and it's fun, I promise. All right. Well, I mean, if you reach this point, then you know that it's fun or not. All right. Bye.